Hello and welcome to another edition of WTF Just Happened Today, your essential guide to making the news make sense. It's Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, and I'm Matt Kieser. Today's edition was written and edited by me, and this audio article is a lightly edited version of the newsletter that was narrated by an AI clone of my voice. Same stories, just rewritten for audio. And as a reminder, this is a working prototype. So if something sounds off, please let me know at wtfjht.com/feedback. Now, here's what just happened today. First up, Trump said he would drop planned 10% tariffs on 8 European countries that were scheduled for February 1st. Trump said the tariffs were no longer needed after meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, claiming he had the framework of a future deal on Greenland and Arctic security. Trump did not release details, but the compromise reportedly involved Denmark giving the U.S. sovereignty over small areas of Greenland's territory to build military bases. Trump said he needed Greenland for his proposed Golden Dome, a missile defense system that could cover North America. A NATO spokeswoman only confirmed negotiations between Denmark, Greenland, and the U.S. will go forward, while Danish officials reiterated that sovereignty was a red line. Earlier, Trump used his Davos speech to demand U.S. control of Greenland, saying, "No nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States." Trump added, "I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force." European officials said the remarks left them more confused than before. EU lawmakers, meanwhile, blocked a vote to ratify a U.S.-EU trade deal after Trump threatened Greenland-linked tariffs. European officials raised the EU's anti-coercion instrument, the bloc's so-called trade bazooka, and a Danish pension fund said it would sell about $100 million of U.S. treasuries. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, however, called Denmark irrelevant, and hours later, Trump reversed course on the tariffs. Next, Trump said, "Canada lives because of the United States," after Prime Minister Mark Carney argued that the U.S.-led rules-based order bargain no longer works, and that we are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Trump said Canada gets a lot of freebies from us and should be grateful, saying Ottawa benefited from U.S. protection and his proposed Golden Dome plan. Carney warned that great powers were using tariffs as leverage, adding, "If you're not at the table, you're on the menu." In other news, Congress released a bipartisan funding package to keep most of the federal government open ahead of a January 30th shutdown deadline. The legislation would fund the Pentagon and major domestic agencies, including Homeland Security, while preserving ICE's roughly $10 billion budget. The package included $20 million for ICE body cameras, but it did not include limits on arrests, detention practices, or deportations that Democrats had demanded. The House plans to vote later this week. Senate passage, however, is uncertain because Republicans needed Democratic support to reach 60 votes. Meanwhile, House Democrats said they would oppose the bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security. In a closed-door meeting, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and other leaders argued the bill did not meaningfully constrain ICE. Republicans are expected to pass the measure without Democratic help. And finally, the Department of Homeland Security launched Operation Catch of the Day and started arresting immigrants in Maine. DHS said the operation targeted people with criminal convictions and, according to U.S. officials, focused largely on immigrants from Somalia. Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin blamed Maine Governor Janet Mills and other Democratic sanctuary politicians for prompting the operation, and it was not clear how long it would last or how many federal agents were deployed. That's all for now. You can find the full edition and all the cited sources at wtfjht.com. My AI policy can be found at wtfjht.com/FAQ. Thanks for listening. I'm Matt Kieser, and I'm glad you're here.